Welcome back to the podcast. My name is Greg, and today I have a special guest with us, Elizabeth from Thomas Cattle Company, who will be joining us talking everything about meat. So let's just jump into it. Elizabeth, welcome, and thank you so much for taking time. I know you guys are super busy right now. We're finally getting some sunshine today. How are the cows doing?
Oh, well, thank you so much for having me. It's wonderful to be here, and we appreciate you thinking of us. Yes, finally some sunshine. You know, it's Idaho, so it might be gone in the next 2 hours, but we'll take what we can get. Yeah, this year for us has been a struggle. We are just so far behind weather-wise. We've gotten lots of moisture, which has been wonderful and much needed, but sunshine also has to come with that to get grass to grow. And we went up over the top of the mountain this weekend, and there's just still tons of snow up there. We really need some sunshine. So we'll take it as soon as we can get it. And I think everyone else is itching for it as well. But
Oh, definitely.
the cows are doing great. We're actually branding some calves today. I think spring is kind of the reward for cowboys of the long winters and calving and doing the same monotonous things all day, every day through the winter. Branding is something that our team really gets excited about, and just cowboys in general. The opportunity to be out there and see all the calves and just really get them rounded up and have a fun day together. So we do lots of brandings in the spring, and today is one of them. So I'm in charge of the meal today. So I'm gonna, once we get done here, get ready to take that about half an hour down the road and feed the team.
Man, that is so awesome. So how many are you branding in one? Like with spring, you mentioned that. How many do you brand per day?
Um, it really varies. We have cattle spread out so far apart, so many miles apart from each
I
other. So
see.
depends on the allotment and where we're running them at. You know, it can be anywhere from 60 head in a day to 350 in a. And with branding, it's, you know, you do it until it's done. So we've finished at 9:30 at night. Just depends on how things go. It's wonderful when things go according to plan, but in ranching, many times things don't go according to plan. So you just have to roll and solve the problems as they come. But yeah, it's anywhere from typically 100 to 300 at a time that we are branding.
Wow.
And we'll brand for a good 4 months. It just kind of depends on timing and, you know, when we can access kind of those cattle and what works in the schedule. We have my brother-in-law Logan and our foreman kind of really build the schedule for our team and the ranch, and so kind of how that works into everything else that we have to get done out on the ranch.
How many cowboys do you guys have running your operation?
Um, oh gosh, let's see. We have we run on four ranches, and so we have one ranch in Oregon, three in Idaho. We have a team of two over in Oregon, and my husband goes over and helps them when they get a little bit busier. And then I believe we have 8 cowboys now that help over at the Idaho ranches, and they kind of rotate between different locations. They're all close to each other, which makes it convenient, and so it keeps everyone very busy. But our team continues to grow. We're actually hiring for another cowboy right now.
Hmm.
Um, you know anyone you could recommend that's looking for a job, cowboy job in Idaho? We are hiring, but it's
Wow.
exciting our team grow and to see our herd grow and our business grow. And you know, it's a big responsibility as a business owner, and being in charge essentially of the success for families. You know, it's not just the employee that comes to work for us, it's their whole family is living remotely in housing that we provide and vehicles that we provide. So it's a big responsibility that, you know, we take very seriously, and we want to really build success for our team. And it's fun to see that grow.
Yeah. Now, how many head of cattle do you have?
Oh, I always tell everyone too many to keep track of, enough to keep
Gotcha.
busy. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's funny. Seth and I have been married for coming on 14 years, and when we got married, I think he had about 40 cows, and we're into the thousands now.
Wow.
Um, Cows, it's, you know, just been really exciting to see them grow over the past 14 years. Seth and Logan are very innovative. They really are on the cutting edge of new processes. You know, it's just really exciting to see that growth, because
Mhm.
not everyone, you know, in ranching, a lot of it is older generations and they don't want to try new things or look at innovations. And Seth and Logan have really committed to that. And I think that's what's helped our operation grow, because times are changing and it requires a different skill set as a rancher. It requires you to be more of a businessman, pay more, it's just a lot of paperwork. People see the fun Yellowstone vibes, but that's about 2% of it. And the rest is, long, busy days and paperwork and red tape. And so it really commitment on both sides of the business.
Gosh. Now, did you grow up in that as a rancher, or did you marry into that?
I married into it.
Okay. How was
Yeah,
that?
I grew up in a ranching community. I grew up in Dillon, Montana, so very egg focused. But my dad had a construction company and my mom was a teacher. So I actually grew up building houses and cleaning job sites and painting. So that was not my skill set. But I went to college at College of Idaho in Caldwell, and I played basketball there. And my husband played basketball at Treasure Valley, and a gentleman that coached him there ended up coming to College of Idaho and coached me and introduced us. So ranching wasn't in my view of where I wanted to go with my future, but it's where I ended up, and it's been a wonderful life, and I can't imagine it any different way. But I always joke with people that I didn't really see my life going forward, that I would talk as much about semen and breeding cows and helping cows calve. It's just something that you don't really put on your check of what you want your future life to be. But it's been really rewarding, and it's something that I've jumped into with both feet and just really love.
Well, that is so awesome. I mean, what an experience I'm sure it's been, and a learning curve. But what I love in hearing you talk about this is like their passion comes out for it. And I think that's what it takes to be a small business owner, whether that's in ag or, business in general, is that passion, because you guys provide such good quality meat to the community here in Idaho. And that's one thing that I think people should really reach out to you about, because your quality is so good. And in full transparency, I'm a recent convert to your company as far as ordering the meat and having it delivered, and our first bite was jaw-dropping. It was so good. So what do you guys do differently than what people normally buy where people normally buy their meat from?
Yeah, thank you for that feedback. That's, I think one of the things I'm most passionate about is feeding families around the dinner table. I think coming together and eating meals together is where people create memories, they build relationships, and to have one small piece of that, is just so exciting for our team. And I really tell our team on the retail side, we have 4 team members on the retail side, on our beef side of the business. Our job really is to get people to try it for the first time, because once they try it for the first time, the product will speak for itself.
Oh,
And
100%.
yeah. And so I think this goes back to Seth and Logan's innovation and what they've done. A lot of people start with a couple cows and they say, we're going to raise them for beef shares and sell them. And then they grow their herd as they sell. We went the opposite direction. We've built a commercial herd, which is scalable, large size. We do this all day, every day. We have cattle grazing on hundreds of thousands of acres. This is what we do. And it's our full-time business. It's not a hobby. It's not something that, is a couple out in a pasture and, it's a small thing every day. So for us, we knew that we had a top product because we sell conventionally. So we sell in auctions, video auctions every year, and we always top the markets because people know that consistency and quality. So other people will buy our calves and they'll do the finishing process and sell them to places like Tyson, grocery stores. They'll go back to the Midwest. And so for us, it really became a conversation of how do we start keeping a portion of that for ourselves so that we can continue to create opportunity for our children in the future in ranching, because it's getting harder and harder for people to get into ranching, to get into farming. The capital is so significant for people to get into it and to stay in it. There's so much red tape. There's so much that you just have to keep on top of. And so for us, it really was, how do we diversify and create vertical integration with what we already have? And beef was really that next step for us. It's funny because Seth always says, I love production agriculture. He loves raising the calves, selling the calves, but he isn't as in love with the beef side of it. I love the beef side of it, but I'm not as involved in the production agriculture of it. And I think that makes a great team, because we have our different passions within our organization. But really the product was already there. I really see myself as the person that is promoting a quality product that has always existed. We use our own genetics. So we raise our own bulls. All of them are papered. They have bloodlines. We raise them for specific traits. So a lot of our cattle will calve out in 10,000 acre pastures. So we're not by them to help if there's issues. We do have a team in the winter that will go and check throughout, once in the morning, once in the afternoon. But we really had to find genetics that work so they have a low birth weight, so there aren't as many issues. So there really is so much science in data in what we do. And so that's something where they've really excelled, is how do we raise bulls that help us raise or have more quality animals that are going to provide top quality beef. We have a box beef program where we sell to restaurants, butcher counters, co-ops. And right now, the last 2.5 months, we've been averaging 60% prime, which is the top grade of beef you can get. And those same animals are what is in our direct to consumer program. So it's, I always say that the hard work has already been done. It's really getting the word out there because of the program that Seth and Logan have built over the past 20 years. There's just an expectation of excellence and finding that next best way of doing things. And so it's fun to see it come full circle and really see people respond well to the product. On our website, I think our average 4.97 of hundreds of reviews. And we tell people, and this is a part of our experience as well, is if you have a negative experience or something you don't like, just let us know, because we can't fix the problem if we don't know. And we want the customer service experience to be just as good as the quality of the beef.
Yeah, the quality is outstanding. Elizabeth, you guys, you have it set, you guys have it dialed in. We had the stew meat the other day, and normally, we put the stew meat in, before we bought your meat, you put it in for the extra flavoring with all the other vegetables. We just cooked it, and just to try just what it was like, just cooked. It was unbelievable. It was so good. There was so much flavor in. It's just unreal. And I think that's what, makes you guys so special. And that's why you have almost, the 4.97 star rating. You guys are doing something right. And people in Idaho, whoever is, getting it from you guys, they know. And it's almost like you don't want to spread the word too much, but you do at the same time, because it's so good and it's helping a local. So talk to me a little bit about, you mentioned this a couple times, the red tape in the industry. I feel like farmers today are just getting squeezed left and right, and it's making it so much harder from, getting the land to raising to regulations, and then just, sending them off to the butcher to get, prepped for delivery to restaurants and families. What is, how hard is it right now being a rancher in this day and age?
Oh, I would say if you aren't very passionate about it, don't stay in it. It has to be something you're doing with your full heart, or it won't be worthwhile for you. Just as an example, we now, as a requirement of our business, because of the world around us, we have a lawyer on retainer and we have a range consultant on retainer that we around, because there are people that don't see ranching as a benefit to society or to the land. And so there's always people that are coming, trying to reduce our animal units on our grazing ground. So we have agreements with, on public lands, how many cattle we can graze during what time of year. how many, how long they can be there. We're measuring. So we have our own consultant that comes out and does measurements for our perspective. We document everything. We have, years of documentation of the rangeland that we graze on. And I think it's a win-win. I mean, it's hard to see, you have to dedicate funds for that, but it is a benefit because our goal is to improve the ground that we graze on because we want to pass it down to our children.
Mm.
And if we be good stewards, if we aren't good stewards of that land, it's not going to be something that we can pass down that is beneficial for them. So it's something that we're going to be doing regardless of, outside factors because we want that to be there. But now we're put in a position where we have to document everything. We have to track everything so that when people, come and say, we're going to cut back, you can graze 100 less cattle on this land during this time, we can say, hey, look at this data of how much it's improved over time versus just some arbitrary number that someone in Washington, D.C. decided that has never been to our ranch and has never interacted with us and has never seen how we cared for our cattle. And so, part of what I try and do on our social media is share aspects of ranching that, everyone thinks ranching is Yellowstone, the TV show, which is great that people are. However, one thing that I have seen in more recent seasons, they are highlighting a lot more things that ranchers really do experience. It's obviously not as dramatic, but there are a lot of outside industries and people that are coming after ranchers and farmers and want it to just not exist altogether. And so there is so much paperwork. I mean, my husband Seth does a lot of the paperwork with our office manager, and it is just piles and piles and piles of tracking and saving it for the future in case you need it. And so, the other day he said, I wish I could just get back to actually going out to be a rancher.
Mm.
And that's just something that, it takes some of the fun away from it, but it is something that's a necessary evil in today's world. And luckily, Seth and Logan are an awesome team. Logan runs most of the day-to-day operations. Seth manages a lot of the business side and fills in where he can, where they need help on the team. But it's just, I think with any growing business, there's continuing to be more regulation and more requirement, which, can be a good thing so that there's transparency in what we do. But when it becomes a detriment to being able to do the day-to-day job of caring for your animals, you really have to love it or it probably wouldn't be worth it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, you touched on so many things. I mean, for the average person just driving down the road, heading to Fruitland or down the other direction, they see these cattle out on the land and just think, oh, that'd be kind of fun to do, but what you're saying is, man, you got to have it in you. And geez, just the bureaucratic nonsense that you guys are having to deal with just to kind of let, put forth good quality meat on dinner tables across America. I mean, that's just crazy that you have to track all of that and have a lawyer on retainer. That's mind blowing. But smart of you guys to be able to track that data and give it back to those bureaucrats who want that information so you can say, yeah, we are improving the land. And now recently, you posted it on your social about what they're trying to inject into our meats, right? Some sort of vaccine or something.
Yeah, using mRNA technology, and there's pros and cons to social media. I love it that we can tell our story, but on the alternate side, one person posts something and it's gospel and people don't go do research or, look into what facts actually are involved there. And, but yeah, it is something that, it just becomes, and one thing I was telling one of our friends that's a rancher the other day is like, so the thing with mRNA, so people are adamantly against this, and like, so we raise all natural beef. So there's no growth hormones and no antibiotics ever. We are audited for this. We go through audits every single year. It creates transparency, which is wonderful to the consumer. I always say about Idaho agriculture is you get your choice of whatever you want. There's a rancher out there to provide it for you. We refer people all the time that want fully grass finished beef for multiple other ranches. And hopefully they refer back to us if someone wants grain finished. But, I think it's the more, oh geez, I just lost my thought. Where was I going with that?
Well, I think there's just so much, on social media, you have people
Oh,
who are posting and
yeah,
yeah.
I'll start over on that.
Okay.
So with the mRNA, vaccine or technology, first, I have never in my 4 years of social media received more questions about one topic than that one. Um, so, and as a rancher, it is hard sometimes because something like that, first of all, they don't exist in the US currently. There's none that are approved for use.
Mm,
So every question was, do you use this? And it said, no, I said, we don't. And no ranchers do because they aren't approved for use in cattle at this point in time. But it provides an opportunity for transparency. But the challenge is, if you are a small rancher that is only doing, have your herd, you have you and your family running on top of everything else that comes up in the social media world that you have to answer and, research and find out, they don't even exist yet. And people are asking us to make a decision
mhm,
today on, you know, what the future looks like in 5 years. It's like, oh gosh, I couldn't even tell you based on today's world. But it is something that I love the social media aspect because of transparency that we can provide for people. We get questions all day long through our website, on our chat, on social media. And that's really our goal is we want to raise great quality beef and we want people to know who raises it and where it comes from. And so social media does provide an opportunity for that, but it also comes with those things that come up and someone posts something out there and it kind of becomes this onslaught of you know okay, how do we address this, how do we and I
mhm,
think I tell a lot of people on our social media is we aren't going to be everything for everyone, and that's not our goal.
mhm,
We are a grain finish program. We do what works best for our operation, and if that doesn't work for someone, then there's someone else we can refer them to. And that's what I love about agriculture is there is so many options out there, especially in Idaho. And our job is to be the best version of us and our company, and if that doesn't work for someone, then we can refer them to 3 or 4 other people. But it definitely is interesting times. And I think social media adds such an interesting aspect to sharing of information and really cutting through to try and tell the real story of what's happening. And it's different for every single rancher and every single farmer. And so for us, we just try and use a platform to show our story and what we do. And so people can see a little bit behind the scenes and not think we're just like Yellowstone or it's that glamorous because it's not.
No, I can't imagine. I've seen some of those posts and moving those the stuff the oh my gosh, all the work that you guys are doing, getting stuff off the truck and oh, it is hard work. It is hard work. You guys, I'm sure, are dealing with, the wind changes every day. And I'm sure that is always keeping you on your toes, but it sounds like you guys have level heads about it, which is all I think that people want. And you guys aren't focused on the change in the times, even though I mean there you are because you want to, stay up to date. But what I what I gather is your true core is providing excellent quality to the public. So as far as like how do people get a hold of you guys to, ask their questions or try some of your meat?
Sure. I actually have a marketing background. I was in the banking industry for 14 and a half years. I left in September to go full time into the beef. So kind of jumped in with both feet, which was scary. But, one thing I worked for a credit union and, it was at the credit union, it was always members first. And I've kind of taken that same
Mm,
sentiment to our customers on the beef side. And it can be challenging as a small business, all the ways that we allow communication from our customers. But for me, that's an opportunity to earn a new customer. We have chat available on our website. We have messaging on our social media. We have a service email address that people can email questions. We have our office that people can call because I think really having a one-on-one conversation with someone and knowing and trusting the person that is raising the main protein that you're feeding your family is important. And so we want to make as many ways to do that as possible. So our website is just thomascattlecompany.com. There's a chat box on there. We have a frequently asked questions section. social media. Most people message me there. That's just Thomas Cattle Company as well. So really try to keep those lines of communication open for what works for everyone. And, we want the customer service experience to be as good as the quality of beef that we provide, because we know people have
Absolutely.
choices, and there's lots of options out there, but we know that it's our job to continue to earn our customers' business every single time they order from us and choose TCC. So we don't want to take that for granted. And, we want to remain humble as we grow. And that's just really important to our family, is caring for the people that do business with us, caring for our community, giving back. And it's just in the fabric of who we are as a family and what the Thomas name means. We talk to our kids a lot about our name is on the title of our company, and that means a lot. And we take a lot of pride in that. So we're going to do things with excellence, because when people hear Thomas, we want them to know that means quality.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love how you're teaching your kids that, there's respect and pride in the name. And going back to, now a lot of people who maybe aren't familiar with your company and they want to try it, you have a lot of variety of options, and you guys are so flexible with the different sizes of families. So kind of talk about the ordering process if someone's brand new, and can you buy a whole share of meat, or, what are options available for families?
Yeah, we have many, many options, and that goes back to the customer experience. I really strongly believe that we want to provide options for people that work for them. What works for my family might not work best for your family or a different family. And so, when someone comes to us and wants to try the beef, typically what we recommend is buying a Rancher's Choice bundle first. And what that is what we have an inventory. We go through and pick a wide variety of cuts for people to try. So we have a 15-pound option for that and a 25-pound option for that. That's, I think, 139 or 149 and 239. If someone doesn't want to spend that much up front, we have a bunch of smaller bundles that we can recommend for them to try with a variety of cuts as well. But our Rancher's Choice is definitely our most popular bundle product, just because people want to try it out. But we will sell you one steak and we will sell you a whole animal and everything in between. I think one benefit of TCC is we make beef shares, which is you can choose a quarter, a half, or a whole beef. And we're actually working on 1/8 and 1/16 shares as
Mm.
well, because people don't have as much freezer space. But we have those available every single month. A lot of ranchers do it twice a year or 3 times a year. So when people's, inventory is getting low, it's like, oh, we need to order a new one, but they have to wait 3 or 4 months for those cattle to be done. So we really said we want to make it convenient for people when they want to refill their freezer. We want to be able to do that. So we make beef shares available every single month for our customers, and they just have to place the deposit. We have a lot of people that will place a deposit for a beef share 4 months from now, and then they make a payment towards their share every single payday. We really want to create flexibility for people. I feel strongly about people having quality beef on their dinner table. And so our beef shares are reasonably priced. We're one of the lower ones for beef shares in the Valley as far as price point goes. And it really is your best value, because you're paying, $9 to $10 per pound for every single cut, up to prime rib, ribeye steaks, T-bones. But I just, we work really closely with the Idaho Food Bank. We donate a ton of
Mm.
beef to the food bank. I just am really passionate about building strong families and having that time together around meals. And at the end of the day, it all goes back to that for us. That's what ranching is about, is being a part of a family and supporting each other. And we want to do that same thing for our community.
How can local Idahoans support, obviously you guys, but also the other ranchers in Idaho? What can Idahoans do for you guys? Because you guys are out busting your butts in the cold, in the snow and spring, to provide this beef, this unbelievable flavor to us as families here. So how can local Idahoans give back to the farmers here in Idaho?
Yeah, I would say the number one thing is just buy direct find a local rancher or farmer that is near you. If you, we ship nationwide, we have local pickups, we have home delivery in the Treasure Valley. So again, trying to find flexible options for people. But if that's not something that's accessible for you, find someone that's local that you can buy directly from them. Going back to the mRNA question, people could message me, the owner of the company, and ask me directly if that was going to occur at our company. You aren't going to get that with something that you buy that you don't know where it came from. Grocery store beef is not bad. It's not any different. It has the same quality standards as far as what's gone into it. It's all labeled. Those are all requirements by the USDA. But if you are buying direct from a rancher, you are giving them the most margin and potential income for the product that they work really hard year round to buy. So find someone near you, find someone that's raising beef and buy from them. That would be the number one. And then I think the next thing is just really to stay curious and ask questions to a resource that you have. If you hear something in social media or hear something in the news, ask a rancher. We do a segment on our social media called Ask a Rancher, because we get so many questions and people will say something and it's like, comes out of left field. It's like, where did they hear that? But I think the beautiful thing is that people can reach directly out to someone they know that produces anything in agriculture. And, for our company, they can say, I know Elizabeth is a part of the process of raising this beef with their team at TCC, and I can ask her directly. And I think that's hugely beneficial and going to become more important in the future for all consumers, is transparency in what they're buying and who they're buying it from, and what aligns with their values. So, I really focus on having an abundance mindset. There's room out there for all of us, regardless if it's ranching or whatever industry. It's who wants to show up every day and do the stuff to be successful and take those steps. And those people will rise to the top and just keep showing up every day. It's really hard, but I think it's a commitment that we made, and I married into it. I didn't make it growing up as much as my husband and brother-in-law, but it's something that our family is committed to. And so for us, we know that beef product at the end of the day is what shows the commitment we have to what we're doing. And so we take a lot of pride in that.
Yeah, no, I mean that's so true. So true. Well, that's awesome. What does it cost for one to I have a question that someone asked me and to ask you. It was like, what is the cost of just raising one from birth to time where you sell it? What's
Uh,
I know that's kind of a broad question and there's a lot that goes into that,
ask me.
but
At the rate that everything is increasing, it's, our inputs have gone up 40% from 8 months ago. It's, I would,
just with inflation and everything, man.
yeah, there's so much that goes into it too. Really, for example, an animal that we're going to finish for our beef program, we have 18 to 24 months invested in that animal before it is butchered.
Gotcha.
So from birth, feed, transport, you know, vaccines that they get at weaning, the time of our team, but well into the thousands of dollars for quality animals. And so, when we sell, for example, we have a wholesale business and then we have the direct to consumer. Our best margin is selling from our ranch directly to you and your household. When we're selling at wholesale, it can go through multiple more hands. And so everyone's getting a little piece of the pie. So that's why I say, going back to, if you can buy direct from a rancher or farmer, do that. They are the ones that are investing all that money. If you buy direct, they are the one keeping that income from buying that animal or buying that steak. So that really is the truly most beneficial, but easily, $3,000 to $4,000, just depending on what type of program it's in, if it's going direct to consumer, if it's going wholesale, if you have to truck it somewhere, trucking. I always joke that I thought I was getting into the beef business, but I really was getting into the logistics business, because all I do all day is track trucks and make sure things are getting to the right place. But it really, when I left in September after 14 years from I was a vice president of marketing and development at a local credit union. And it was a huge, I'm kind of risk averse. I have been, and it was a huge chance for me.
Mm.
But I think at the end of the day, I realized the scope of what we could build for our family and for our community. And, all the families that work on our team was just outweighed the fear for me. And it's been hard and it's been challenging, and it hasn't even been remotely close to what I thought it was going to be. But it's that fire inside of us that knows we can build something great that can really positively impact our communities. And so it's been a journey for sure, but one that, we're all on together and we really want to see succeed.
That's so cool. That's so cool. Well, I kind of want to wrap with a little bit of rapid fire questions for you.
Okay.
And just off the top of your head, what is the most requested cut?
Ground beef.
Ground
Not
beef.
really. Ground beef is our number one seller. I would say ribeyes is our number one steak.
Okay. What's your favorite cut?
My husband will, uh, he will not be happy with me, but tri-tip.
What's
Uh,
your husband's favorite cut?
His is a ribeye.
A
Yep.
ribeye.
Yep.
Nice.
I like tenderloin and tri-tip. I think I like tri-tip because it feeds so many people, and quick and easy dinners are my win with everything going on. But yep, ribeye is a favorite of the guys around here.
Do they or you prefer smoking it or grilling?
Oh, I would say grilling, just because we're usually time sensitive and we just have to get dinner done and move on to the next thing.
No, that's awesome. Man, this has been such a great opportunity to learn more about your company and what you guys are doing for Idahoans and around the nation, and what you guys, the effort and the work that you guys are putting through just to provide a nice meal for our families. It means so much to us and those who order from you. If you guys have not tried their beef, I highly recommend going to their website, picking out the box that is interest to you. And what I love is that it's not like nonstop delivery. You can kind of space it out based off of your family's need, how often you want it delivered, every other month, monthly. There's a variety of options that work best, and you guys are so flexible with that. So I highly recommend everyone go to their website, scope around, message Elizabeth directly if you have any questions. And yeah, Elizabeth, thank you so much. I know you guys are busy, 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 so I appreciate your time.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. And, I just want to say a huge thanks to our team that are out there every single day doing the hard work, showing up for our cattle. And, I kind of inadvertently have become the spokesperson for TCC, just because the guys are like, get that camera and recorder away from me. They want nothing it, but it truly is our team on the retail beef side and our cowboys on the ranch side that are out there every single day doing what it takes to get the job done. And we're just really grateful for everyone that is a part of our team to raise that quality beef for all of our customers.
Awesome. All right. Thanks so much.
Thank you. Have a good day.